All right, so today we're starting out. Actually, it's evening time for me. I'm just getting done work. Had an interesting day at work, so I needed to take some time and just kind of chill. What better way than getting ready for Halloween? So what this is all the cemetery fencing that I had last year, and hopefully this will be enough for this year's setup. If my math is correct, and so far it's not because I'm tapping this button a bunch of times and it ain't turning. There we go. We should be good with what we need. These posts will also go along with that. We need those. This is our little donation box that we used for last year. We donated to the Humane Society. I think we'll do the same thing this year. And then all of these pumpkins were what was on top of the cemetery fence in there. And then I had this little vampire guy. But yeah, we donate to places that help dogs, like this little girl here. Hi, Lilo. What you doing? She's our newest rescue. My daughter Cheyenne there. And I was going to grab this guy because that's more fun, but I think this makes more sense. Let's get our layout figured out before we grab all the big stuff. We still got everything that's up there we got to grab. And then a couple more of these animatronics. It gets kind of dark in here. But look at that big space we opened up now. So we're going to get this stuff home, and I don't know what we'll get done tonight, but we'll at least have some stuff. So this video very well may encompass a few days, or at least the second half of this week when you guys finally see it. But we'll make some progress and bring you guys along. So we'll see you in the next clip. All right, so it is the next day here, and this is what the plan is. Because I thought I measured this out once before, but this is the best way in my mind to try this out, because I don't have a really long tape measure. So and I have X amount of pieces of fence. So the idea is to be straight across the front here, and then it'll kind of come up. I was thinking we're going to have 3 panels deep going up, was my original thought. I don't know if that'll work, but I think it can if I move that forward more. The other thing that I'm up against this year is kind of unique. We're getting new fiber optic lines put in, and I know they've already come and marked off that part of the yard twice, so I don't know if they're actually going to run through here, because I've never seen them mark this. But that also could be because there's nothing buried over here. So if it's not marked over here, that just means I don't think there's anything buried. But you can see the flags maybe in the distance over there. So I really don't want to deal with having to take this down if they start cutting. But anyways, we're going to get this laid out. I'll probably start putting some fence out once I figure out what I need and where I can put it. But I got these posts. I only have 6 of these guys, and it worked perfect last year. I don't know if they'll work great this year. These are actually from another person's display. I got these. It's basically just 1x6s that they had some tubing, or like PVC piping fence that they had made. That's why those holes are there. They just went into the holes. And then this top is just some foam, and then they painted them. I've reused them. This will be the second year. They worked well last year. I put little candle lights up on top around the cemetery. I think it looks cool. But this is what I got left for panels. So we're gonna see what we got, and try to get a bunch of these panels set up so then I can start building our graveyard. And you can see I brought a bunch of the pumpkins home. Looks like our creepy girl fell over. It's not really where she's gonna go anyways, but skeleton guy fell over. But I stashed a bunch of the pumpkins in here. But I don't know if I'm gonna make this wide or this deep in the back. I'm gonna stack up another set of pallets, but this is what I did to hide the pumpkins in here for now. And I kind of use it once these buildings get set up. If I'm not done, I kind of use them for storage. So that's my methodology. And yeah, I'll give you guys more tours, show you some of the lighting I use. I like the solar stuff. It's not overly bright, but that's okay because I want it to be dark. I think it's creepier when it's darker, and I don't have to go around and turn the things on. So they just come on as the sun goes down. However, we lose so much daylight in October that sometimes if it's an overcast day, they don't get enough battery charged because the sun isn't very bright. So in those later part of October, they don't work as well. But anyways, enough of this. Let's get some fence set up and see how this turns out. All right, so this is how I hold this fence up. Whoop, not like that, but I use these steel, these garden fence picket things or whatever the heck they are. You get these, I get these from Menards. These are a little bit more spendy than other ones out there. Other ones that I use for my wood fence are actually the fiberglass style. But what I do is I map out, I got a bike going by, I map out approximately where this pole is going to sit, and on either end of this fence panel there's no screw in the bottom of this pole, so you can go all the way up. Now I got to knock this guy into the ground far enough so it'll clear actually up to here. And I'll tell you, sometimes with this and you got roots from trees and stuff, it gets tricky. So I got a rough idea there. Lift that guy up, put this guy right like so. We'll lay him down. Hopefully this guy doesn't go for a ride while I'm doing this. We just start hammering. And a BFH, that's what this is called, that helps. I don't know if that's quite far enough down. I try not to get it down too terribly far, because one thing I'll tell you, at the end of the season, these things are kind of a bugger to get out of the ground sometimes. I've pulled some of them out and that triangle tip is still in the ground, so it seems like we're almost stuck right there. And we got to go down a little further. You can see it on camera, because if I remember right, yeah, that has a screw in it, so let's see. But the idea basically is I slide this guy down, and these metal ones, one on each end, support it. These are extra support here in the corners. Last year I had more of these basically supporting it all the way around, and I didn't have any issues. But the signs that I put out, I do say in the signs, the fence is not made to support weight, so please don't touch anything. I haven't had an incident yet doing it this way, so yeah, we'll get to setting this up and see how this turns out. All right, so this fence is made out of the cheapest 1x2s you can buy, and it kind of does this, you know what I mean? And that's fine. It's not designed to be the most structurally sound thing. It's just designed to kind of look like an old wrought iron fence. So we're gonna knock this one down. We'll move on down the line. We got our first panel up. Let's get the rest. All right, well, I'm probably gonna call it just about a night. I got a few fence panels in. I realized that I'm actually a little short on the metal rods, which is fine, because this arm right here, I don't know if you can tell, but you might be able to, that's pretty gnarly arm pump. I don't think I ever had arm pump that bad, even when I used to ride four-wheelers and stuff, so that's pretty nuts. But let's see what we got done. So we got the lights on. You can see this is coming together kind of. This path is definitely wider than I originally planned. And part of that is because I think my original plan was to have this a little bit over. I can change that, but if we get busy again this year, it's nice having this really wide area. I think this is about 10 feet or so of width. Generally what I try to give people for distance is about 6 feet or so. So there's plenty of width coming in. And then when we finally get the rest of the fencing, that'll go along here. Then this will be the border for the rest. We should have plenty of room there. The fence that runs along this corner here, that's definitely not going to stay. It's going to come out about 4 feet in front of the deck. So that'll be the narrowest spot. It'll be about the 6 feet where this fence is laid out and where that fence is actually going to be. And this will be our pumpkin patch again in front of the deck. So this stuff will change a little bit. I have a ton of tombstones I got to grab, but yeah, you can see I didn't put this on video, but this guy, we ended up repainting because last year he faded out like within a few weeks. So he has some fresh, you can see the difference. Hopefully the camera's picking it up as I go across, because right now we do have a UV light on him, and he definitely looks nice in the UV light. But he faded out pretty bad. His back isn't so bad, but because that wasn't in the sunlight, but anything that was in the sun, he faded out pretty bad last year. So, and these guys are just some foam pumpkins that we were going to cut, but we ended up just painting with UV light. So that's what we got there. But it's coming together. You can see I'm going to have to fix the front of this. It doesn't look so bad from this angle, but if you're coming down the road, it's not the straightest in the world. And if I could just bring that middle back in just a touch, it'll look a lot better. Not that it needs to be perfect, you know, this is creepy Halloween fence. It definitely doesn't need to be perfect, but it's out further than it was last year by probably about 6 feet or so. So I'm using more yard. This is a bigger cemetery overall than what it was last year, but it's coming together every so slowly. It sucks when you work until 6 o'clock at night and only get about an hour and a half of daylight to do the rest. So, but it's coming together. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into this one. We'll see you in another update video, I don't know, in a few days or whenever it'll be. For sure this weekend we're going to get a bunch of stuff done, and we're going to start getting into the more fun stuff, the animatronics. And when I get this guy done over here, we're going to bring you along and show you how that turns out as well. And then don't forget, I am going to do a few videos on how-tos, how to build a few of these things on the cheap. That shack so far, I think I got a couple dollars into it, if that. So anyways, thanks for watching again. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're finding any value out of this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. Thank you.